different from other parts of the world I've fought in. They are less rowdy, but very respectful and appreciate the fighters. So I look forward to giving them a show this weekend.
Adesanya hadn't fought guys in how many years where there wasn't a belt up? How many years has it been? Do you remember the debut in Melbourne, Australia? Do you remember that? 57,000 live? That was Izzy. And he has never fought in a fight for a non-world title since. That was the night. Then he was calling out Paulo Costa and he was teasing his shirt. He was calling him Ricky Martin. I only remember that because I don't know who Ricky Martin is, but Paulo Costa looked cool, man. He looked great in this Versace shirt. It was like The Rock would wear. I loved it. It was awesome, but I just remember that night. And Izzy proclaimed to the world that he did not just win the championship, the undisputed championship. He defended the interim championship. And this is great stuff. Do you know how long ago? Do you know how long ago that was? And this dude's been nothing but world title main events on pay-per-view. Do you see the spot he's in? Do you see how things are different? Do you see a road back for Izzy if he gets beat? Because there was one for Dan Henderson. If Dan Henderson had lost to Pale Horse, he would have been off of TV. And they would have liked him, and they would have respected him, and they let him exhaust his contract, but forget about main events and co-main events, and just forget about all that stuff. Dan Henderson, with that win over Pale Horus, couldn't put him back for a world championship because he just had two. He just had Anderson, he just had Rampage. They put him in just main events. They were just getting this Fox deal. They were just going on linear, and they only used him in main events. I mean, it was a massive boost.
Fight fans, welcome back to Luxury Tainments. Today, we're breaking down one of the most intriguing upcoming fights in the UFC. Israel, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya versus Nassourdine, the Sniper, Imavov. Will Adesanya reclaim his dominance, or is Imavov ready to shake up the division? Let's get into it. Last time we saw Izzy in action, it wasn't his night. At UFC 305, he fought his heart out, but ultimately fell short against du Plessis. And let's be real, he wasn't outclassed, he just got caught. It was a close fight with Adesanya hurting Dricus du Plessis multiple times. But in the end, a sloppy but effective attack led to a takedown and a submission loss. That's the past, though now it's redemption time. Firstly, let's look at the advantages for Israel Adesanya. Elite striking, one of the best strikers in MMA, period. His precision, timing, and ability to read opponents make him a nightmare. Octagon experience, former champ, fought the best of the best, Pereira, Whitaker, Cannonier, Vittori. He's battle tested. Fight IQ, Adesanya doesn't just fight, he downloads his opponent's data in real time and adjusts like a champion. Now let's look at the disadvantages. Recent losses and confidence. Losing the title hurts. Is his confidence shaken? Or is this the motivated, dangerous Adesanya we know? Ground game vulnerabilities. His grappling has improved, but wrestling heavy fighters have given him trouble in the past. On the other side, we have Nassourdine Imavov. He's riding a 4-fight undefeated streak since losing to Sean Strickland in 2023. But let's be honest, that streak is okay, not great. A no contest with Chris Curtis, a controversial stoppage over Cannonier, and an impressive win against Brendan Allen. But can he handle Adesanya? That's the real question. Let's take a look at the advantages for Imavov. Volume and accuracy. Statistically, he lands more significant strikes per minute and has a 55% accuracy rate compared to Adesanya's 48%. Fundamental boxing. He has a clean, technical boxing style that could help him find success against Izzy. Height and reach. At 6'3", he's not at a size disadvantage, which is a rare against Adesanya. Now let's look at the disadvantages. Lack of high-level opponents. His best win, Brendan Allen. Compare that to Adesanya's resume, not even close. No knockout power. He's not a one-shot knockout artist like Pereira or Duplessis. Can he land enough volume to trouble Adesanya? Takedown struggles. If he can't land a takedown, this fight becomes a kickboxing match, and we all know who wins that. Israel Adesanya's last fight was his unsuccessful attempt to claim back UFC's 185-pound strap at UFC 305. That night, the belt came into and out of the building, around the waist of Dricus Duplessis. Adesanya wasn't blown away by the South African. It was a close fight, and he was able to hurt Dricus Duplessis throughout. Eventually, though Duplessis' sloppy but super effective offense found a way through, leaving Adesanya open for a takedown and submission. That spirited display has Adesanya as the favorite in this fight against Imavov, who is on a so-so 4-fight undefeated streak. The streak started after he lost a decision to Sean Strickland in 2023. Since then, Imavov has had a no contest with Chris Curtis, an accidental clash of heads, a majority decision over Roman Dolidze, an early stoppage over Jared Cannonier, and finally, an actually impressive decision win over Brendan Allen. I thought the bookies might have gone with Imavov as the favourite. However, it seems Sin City agrees with me that Adesanya looked good against the champ, and Imavov's run of wins are just okay. This is the first time Adesanya has competed in a non-title fight since he decisioned Anderson Silva in 2019. He's about as battle-tested as you can be at middleweight. Imavov, on the other end, has a very meh list of names on his record. He faced and lost to Strickland. The only other fighter he's faced with title fight experience is Cannonier, who was winning on the scorecards before that early finish.
Some steam going, and that was the one. Have things not gone Justin Gaethje's way, the Justin Gaethje that you know, the BMF champion, that fight never happened. Justin Gaethje versus Max. It never happened. Justin got tested in England, and many believed he was going to do the job. And I'm just saying, Justin Gaethje, at 155 pounds, there was 10, 15 really good fighters, but there was only 5 stars. And you could not get those stars to pass the ball to anyone else. They never did it until Tony Ferguson did it for Charles Oliveira. But by the way, Justin Gaethje had done this as well, and he passed the test. And there's been nothing but big fights against big name guys. And I bring you that, like, this isn't new what you're seeing, but just try to imagine being in that spot. If you're Adesanya, try to imagine being in that spot. If you lose, your career will effectively be over. Some guys have priced themselves out of an ability to fight. Ronda Rousey, just for a very popular name for you, like, she could have won a whole bunch more fights, and she could have had people very interested. Her contract was so big, you couldn't use her anywhere but a main event, and you couldn't main event the women unless it was a world title fight, and Ronda's days of fighting for world titles were done. And I'm just sharing for you, like, there are some guys that make so much. Their contract is so good. You literally can't use them anywhere else. If you can't use them in main events and you can't use them in title fights, you just can't use them. Great spot to be in, right? We would all love to be in this spot, but I'm just sharing for you, Izzy's one of them. If Izzy loses to Imavov, it would be way extreme for me to say his career's over, but the career that he has enjoyed is over. He's already out of title. He's already off of pay-per-view. I mean, right? It's just the way that it goes. Meanwhile, if Izzy wins, he could be back in there for a world title. He could be back fighting for a world title. And who knows what Izzy will do with a microphone. Izzy will not leave you all wondering what's going to be next. He will call somebody out. Much as you think Chimaev's going to be taking on the winner of Sean versus DDP, as much as you think that, and that is true until Izzy grabs a hot mic and sticks a finger in his chest. I'm just saying, there's nobody that can change the landscape and change the way that you view the world around him. Nobody can do it like Izzy. And I think that that's very exciting, by the way. I mean, it's a very hard spot to have to go fight Imavov, to have to fight him in a main event, to have to fight 5 rounds when a title's not on the line and you lose your participation points. I mean, it's a very similar spot that many other guys have found themselves in. I'll just go back to Dan Henderson and Paul Harris. Paul Harris's teammate screwed him. I mean, can you believe that? Why has nobody ever talked about that? We didn't know he did heel hooks till all of his coaches predicted he would win, and then they said how. God, that was, of the things you could do in MMA history, that was truly one of the dumbest. But, to move on, it's a really interesting spot, and I don't envy it from Izzy, but I respect it. And guys that say they'll fight anybody, and I love the sport, and I just want to compete, and whatever it takes to be champion. A lot of times, that can be a pretty smooth path. But historically, all of the greats at some point will get that test, the one where you're waiting.
So how does this fight go down? In my opinion, Imavov is going to struggle. Yes, he's sharp, but Adesanya has faced and beaten better strikers. If this turns into a pure striking battle, Adesanya's movement, counters and IQ will be too much. So, the final verdict. I'm rocking with Israel Adesanya. He's been here before. He's faced tougher competition and he knows how to win. Imavov is talented, but he hasn't faced a striker of Izzy's caliber. I see Adesanya taking this one, possibly by a late technical knockout or a dominant decision. So guys, what do you think? Will Adesanya bounce back, or is Imavov about to shock the world? Drop your predictions in the comment section below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more fight breakdowns. Until next time, stay locked in with Luxurytainment. Have a great day.
What's up? I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son. I seen you trying to finish my bullshit here. I'm coming for everybody. I'm the kick it.